Good morning, Britain. Apparently, there aren't many people who've made batting look easier than our next guest, one of the greats of English cricket, and the sixth highest capped Test player.
He's very annoying, this guy, because I've spent my entire life, literally, I've spent probably 45 years of my life
Trying to play cricket.
Trying to bat like this guy. And it's impossible, because you have to combine brilliant natural ability with a kind of languid, lazy-looking style, which makes it all look impossibly easy. And that's what's so annoying about you, David Gower, is that throughout your career, you made it look so easy. And it's not easy to bat like that.
Can I say I made it look easy both in failure and success?
Can we ask you, first of all, just for no other reason that it'd be quite amusing to get your view, what is going on with this country? What do you think of Brexit? We know that one of your old colleagues, Ian Botham, is a rampant Brexiteer. You're a Remainer.
I am, you're right. Ian,
what do you make of it?
Ian was peddling the lies on the bus from day one. It's quite interesting when you've got close friends like that debating something as serious as this. And
does it get painful in those conversations?
He hasn't hit me yet. He has threatened. He's got very close, very, very close.
He does get very fired up about it.
Well, as you know, he gets very animated about these things. And, I mean, it's an impossible... One thing I will say, trying to sort of calm us all down, it's been an impossible task from day one. There are so many aspects to it that to try and cope with absolutely every aspect is, you know, it's like 17 million different solutions.
But you know that you've worked in cricket dressing rooms where ultimately a strong captain, strong leadership can make a big difference, can't it, to how a team performs. Theresa May, it seems to me, whatever you think of her, it's obviously a difficult job, but I think she's failed the leadership test. I don't think she's a natural leader, and she appears to have lost control of her party, of her plan, of the country, of her voice. I mean, everything. I mean, at what point do you say enough?
Well, you're speaking to a man, if you want to use the cricket analogy, you're speaking to a man of whom they said enough at least twice.
Yes. Yeah.
When things had gone
But you did eventually go.
Of course you do.
Yeah.
And it's much easier to be told to go under those circumstances. I mean, it's a bit of a leap to take, say, managing a cricket team to managing a country. And even...
Same principles, though, aren't
They're the same principles. And the one principle, of course, is if you go into it with a plan, hopefully it's a good... No, another word, a good plan. At the start, and you know where you're going at the start. So if you have, basically, for instance, I mean, the analogy state, we would have team dinners with a chance for the captain to put the plan ahead. You basically see at 10 o'clock in the morning, if we're lucky, a cup of tea, both of them, you can have a cigarette. Yes, at 11, we'll start.
Gower, just do your normal wafting outside off stump.
These are the old days.
Yeah, but here's the analogy I'll throw back at you. Imagine if we had back-to-back Ashes, which you often do these days, right? And we sat down as a team, and the team manager and the team captain sit down and they plan out the two Ashes campaigns, right? And they have a meticulous plan and they have it all detailed, everyone buys into this. And we lose 5-0, 5-0. What happens to that manager and captain? Let me answer the question for you. They get fired, right? They get fired.
Luckily, I'd have given the same answer. Yeah.
But that's where we are with Theresa May. She's produced this plan twice now, and she's received two of the biggest drubbings in history. To use a sporting analogy, which I've just thrown at you, if it was the Ashes, she'd be gone.
The other side of sport is when you decide to make a change at the top. Most of the time, you're right. If the results are that bad, then you change the captain, possibly change the manager, although the captain is the one in the firing line in cricket, the manager is the one in football who is much more in that same firing line. If you're trying to change a team, I mean, this is the thing, that if you want to spread this analogy even further, you look at the teams that are playing in this competition that you've just been discussing.
And they're all useless.
Exactly. So if you make a change in the team, you want to make sure you improve the team. There are people looking in and tweeting this morning saying, well, they're all, quote, Muppets.
Right.
Which I disagree with, because you and I both know a lot of these people, and they're far from Muppets. But the argument is far too complicated for one Muppet to sort out, as it were.
Yeah.
So you've got to try and improve the team if you're going to make changes. And Theresa has had this...
Would you carry on with Theresa May if it was your choice?
Yeah, but who do you... I mean, at this stage, tap on the shoulder.
Yeah.
Tap
You'd
on the
fire
shoulder.
her. You'd encourage her to shuffle out the door.
I'd give her a chance to say, look, yeah.
It's time.
Yeah.
She's a massive cricket fan as well, so what you say will have some impact.
In fact, of all the people to call for it to go, D.I. Gower might be the final moment.
This is not what I came in for.
No.
You know, Gower says May must go. Could be the one that really breaks it.
Hang on a second. Yes. Finally, a purpose in life. Yeah.
As you said, as you've referenced yourself, and I'm sure you took, because you're out on tour, aren't you, celebrating your career. What is it like when you have an extraordinary success, like you did at the Ashes in 1985, and then it doesn't go according to plan and you are replaced? What effect does that have on you? Because we know that cricketers have a particularly bad downside when they...
It's well documented, yes.
Yeah, when they don't do well or when they leave the sport.
Not quite reached that moment yet. Although another couple of weeks
But
of
in
Brexit, I might well do.
Yeah, well, I think we're all feeling a little bit like that.
You know, I mean, my nemesis was more the West Indies
Yes.
of the 80s. And my excuse for that is they were just rather good.
They were too good.
Or, in a word, or a few words, better than us.
To the point where you wanted to break the hand of one of your fiercest opponents, Malcolm Marshall.
It's not entirely true, but it'll do for the purposes of the tour. I mean, when you're playing a side against the West Indies, whose strength in the 80s was immense fast bowling, 4 of them. I mean, there were 10 of them to pick from. Luckily, only 4 could play in every one game. You know. And they also had some rather decent batsmen, if you look down the list of that. And you've Viv Richards at the top of them, and Gordon Greenidge and all sorts. But one of the ploys, you know, talking about a good plan, if we could break the hand of one of these fast bowlers...
They couldn't bowl.
And reduce... Not quite true, all right? Luckily, no one's listening. If we could break the hand of one of these bowlers and therefore put them out of the game, maybe that would give us more of a chance. And actually, the game I'm thinking about was Headingley 84, which was quite a close game, and remarkably close for the era, considering the two relative strengths of the teams. And Malcolm Marshall, who was one of the greats and one of the nicest men of all time, there is a picture of him batting at the end of their first innings, with one hand in plaster and using one hand to bat.
And he still batted better than most of our team.
And so then, when I use this, when I put this picture up on stage and say, now you'll spot the flaw here. We have broken one of his hands.
It's the wrong one.
The wrong bloody hand. And he came in the second innings, our second innings. You know, it was pretty much par in the game at that stage, at the end of the first innings. In our second innings, he took something like 7 for 53 with the one good hand that he needed.
What do you make of England at the moment? Are a quite mercurial team. The one-day team seems to be well beat. Doesn't have a very good chance of winning the World Cup, I would think. The Test team's been very erratic over the last few years. What do you make of how Joe Root is getting on as England captain?
Well, I mean, 3 or 4 months ago in Sri Lanka, everyone was saying the right thing, which is Joe Root is emerging as his own man now, finding his feet. And it does take time, because people assume the moment you're appointed England captain that you know all the answers. And you don't, because you have to go through the experience and you learn every day you're doing the job.
Can we win the Ashes this summer?
Yeah, oh yeah.
And the World Cup?
We can win both.
Wow.
But as you well know, the World Cup is all about that one day where it has to go right and could go wrong. However good you are. And they have played spectacular cricket for the last 4 years under Owen Morgan, who's a brilliant one-day captain.
Well, all good leaders should be called Morgan,
looked into Owen Morgan's eyes. Because if you look at and the way he shakes your hand, look straight in the eyes, you know this man is serious. I have huge faith in Owen Morgan. And in fact, going back to your original question, for Prime Minister...
Put a Morgan in charge, is what you're saying.
Oh, no, you've got to be very specific about
Which Morgan?
I have channeled my inner country gentleman specifically for you this morning. Don't worry about that.
You look like a Lord of the Manor.
It's my finest Chinese-Italian tweed.
Where would you like to be a Lord of, if you could choose an area?
How about Chipping Norton, seeing as that's where your tour kicks off?
Someone's probably got it already, and I'm not sure that's quite my area. I live in Hampshire, so I'll find a little village in Hampshire.
Yes, that would be good. Well, look, it's great to see you. The tour starts on the 14th.
That's tomorrow.
That's
which is tomorrow in Chipping Norton. Goes to Newbury, Southampton, Birmingham, Cranley, Wimborne, Bridgewater, Winchester, Bishop Stortford, Norwich, Bury St Edmunds, Shrewsbury, Halifax and Henley-on-Thames.
Someone did say, I know my demographic.
You really
You're basically going to be talking to a bunch of posh people, aren't you?
And Halifax.
David Gower, great to see you.
Thank you. Thank you.